Hi there, I'm Yasin Kütük, as you know. Today we will start to learn Google Analytics platform. Welcome to Google Analytics for everyone. In this course, we will take you through a basic understanding of Google Analytics. I will show you how to create and implement an account, set up views and filters, read basic reports, setting up the dashboards, perform basic analysis, and set up goals and campaign tracking. Today we will study Google Analytics interface, audience overview reports, dashboards, and shortcuts with 28 slides. I'm giving you this course as assistant professor in the Department of Economics at Altınbaş University. I'm also holding a PhD degree in economics. I'm currently focusing academically on the areas of econometrics, statistics, and machine learning, but in parallel with my research areas, I'm writing research papers on applied sciences. As of 2018, I'm lecturing on econometrics theoretical and applied parts, statistics, statistical learning, R and Python programming, and introduction to data science. Welcome to a guided tour of the Google Analytics interface. If you have multiple accounts, properties, or views set up, you can easily switch between them by clicking on the pull-down menu with the title of your view in the upper left corner. When you open up the account picker, you can select by account, property, or view. You can also search any of these by name. To close the account picker, click anywhere on the screen outside of your picker. Clicking the bell icon in the upper right shows you alerts about your Google Analytics properties and views. But in the alert menu, these may include data that is not collecting properly or a setting that needs to be optimized. To close the alerts menu, click anywhere on the screen outside of the alerts panel. At the top right of your analytics view are two more icons. The question mark icon lets you send feedbacks to Google Analytics or search help articles. The user icon lets you switch between different Google accounts, manage your current Google account, or sign out. The customization section, in the customization section, it allows you to create custom reports specific to your business accounts. We will cover customization in an advanced course. In left-hand navigation bar, to navigate between the reports, you will use the navigation on the left. Clicking on each of these sections will expose the reports that belong to each section. Real-time reports let you look at the live user behavior on your website, including information like where your users are coming from and if they are converting. In the audience report, it shows you characteristics about your users like age and gender, where they are coming from, their interest, how engaged they were, whether they are new or returning users, and what technology they are using. In acquisition reports show you which channel brought users to your site. These could include different marketing channels such as organic or unpaid search. CPS means cost per click or paid search. Referral, traffic that comes from another website. Social, from a social network. The other part, a group of low volume traffic sources. In the behavior reports show how people engage on your site, including which pages they viewed and their landing and exit pages. With additional implementation, you can even track what your users search for on your website and whether they interacted with specific elements of your website. In the conversation reporting system, conversation reports allow you to track website goals based on your business objectives. In the admin section actually contains all of your Google Analytics settings such as user permissions, tracking codes, with settings and filters. We can look at the guided tour of the audience overview report. In audience overview report, there should be a panel as data range. At the top of every report is a data range bar. This bar lets you set the time period in which you want to analyze report data. Click the date range to open up the range selector. The range selector opens up a calendar on the left where you can select your date ranges. When you change the date range, it affects all of the reports in your view. So you can switch between different reports without having to adjust the date range each time. You can choose between date ranges like last week, last calendar month, or last 30 days. But you can also set specific dates by clicking the start and the end date fields and selecting calendar dates. If you would like to select the entire month, simply click on the name of the month in calendar to the left side. In the date range comparison, you can also compare the data from two different date ranges by clicking compare to and adding the date range you wish to compare. This lets you to see how your business changes over time. At the top of the report of your report, notice that there should be a segment picker. Segments are ways to look at a specific dataset and compare the metrics you want to also compare it. We will cover this in advanced course, but for now, notice that the default segment includes all of users that visited your website in a given range. Below the segment picker, there are different metrics of audience overview report shown in the different formats. The most prominent is a line graph that by default shows a data point for the data of the users in each day over you selected the range. If you wish to view this data more specifically, you can change the data points to show hourly, weekly, or monthly as well. This can be especially helpful when looking at the large data sets. If you are looking at data over a single day, the view will default to hourly. In here, there should be a metric selector. You can change the metric shown from users to a different metric by selecting the drop-down menu under the Overview tab. Analytics lets you compare these to a second metric over the time period by clicking Select a Metric. Notice the small arrow at the bottom of your line graph. Click on the arrow lets you annotate the graph with the helpful notes to add business context to your data. Once you add an annotation, a small indicator will appear on the graph that can be viewed by the other users with access to view. Clicking any of the metrics below will show data points for those metrics in line graph above. There are a number of helpful metrics beneath the line graph. Sessions are the total number of the session for the given data. In the bar of users are the total number of users that visited for given data range. You will see a line for users. In Page View tab, there are total number of times pages that include your analytics tracking code were displayed to users. This includes repeated viewings of a single day by the same users. Page per session is the average number of pages viewed during each session. This also includes repeated viewings of a single page. AVG session or average session duration is the average length of a session based on users that visited your site in the selected data range. Bounce rate is the percentage of users who left after viewing a single page on your site and taking no additional action. Percent of new sessions is the percentage of your session in your data range who are new users to your website. To compare new and returning users, to the right of the matrix is a pie chart illustrating the percentage of new users to versus returning users. Let's understand the dimensions and the matrix. Clicking into the dimensions of the top bottom left of the report will allow you to see the top 10 dimensions and metrics for each categories. In the language dimension, the default dimension selected in the audience overview report is your language. Note that the table to the right includes the top 10 values for languages. You can also select country or city levels to view the top 10 values for those dimensions. To view metrics about what technology people are using to view your site, your website, click browser or operating systems. Let's navigate the full reports. Previously, we have already showed you a high-level version of the audience overview report. At the bottom of that report, there is a link to view full report where you can see expanded versions of each audience report in the left-hand navigation. Now we can look at Let's Check out of the full report. When you open up the full report, you will see the links underneath the segment picker that controls the different types of the data in the report. The summary view is a summary of the dimension categorized by acquisition, behavior, and conversation metrics. This makes it easier to interpret these metrics into the context of the marketing funnel we have already discussed in the first part. Site usage shows behavior metrics like user sessions per user, new users, sessions per pages per session, and average session duration. Goals will show the metrics based on the number of goals you have configured and will only show up if you have already set up goals in the Google Analytics, which will be discussed in the later. But in commerce will show the transaction metrics if you have set up a commerce transaction tracking in the analytics. Now let's switch back to the summary view. Below the graph is the main data table. You can see that the first column shows the current dimension called country, which was the last demographic category we selected in the overview report. You can switch between other dimensions like city, continent, and the subcontinent by clicking the links about the data table. It's so important to know you can also add another dimension to the table for even more specific analysis. But we call this a secondary dimension, which is a common technique when analyzing the data. For example, you could add a secondary dimension of device category to the location report to see what kinds of devices were used by people in different countries while visiting your website. Here you can see that each row of the table represents a different segment of traffic in the country dimension. Note that the analytics is only showing you the first 10 rows of the data, only as many columns as fit on the screen. To view additional rows, use the Shows Row pull-down the menu on the bottom right side of the table to select how many rows you want to see, or use the left and right arrows to scroll down 10 rows at a time. If you wish To view all the columns, you may need to use the horizontal scroll bar at the bottom of your report. You can analyze the data table in different ways. Clicking on each column in the table toggles the data sort between ascending and descending. The arrow in the column header shows which column you are currently sorting by. Note by default, analytics sort will report by users. It can also be useful to filter the data table to focus only on the segments of traffic that are significant. Use the filter field at the top of the table to include only rows where the primary dimensions contains your filter them. For example, you want to look at the data of a specific country like India, so rather than scroll through the table, you could simply type the India into the filter and analytics will show you the India for the table. Advanced next to the search box lets you apply even more sophisticated rules for filtering. We will cover techniques for advanced filtering in another course. Next to the advanced link, there are several different visualization options. The data table view is the default visualization for most reports. This organizes your data in a table broken out by acquisition, behavior, and conversation metrics for audience and acquisition reports. The pie chart icon creates a pie chart based on your data. This helps you compare the percentages of a whole, such as how many users are on desktops, on tablets, and on mobile phones. You can choose which metric your report should display in the pie chart using pull-down menu. The performance view shows a bar graph of your data. This helps you compare individual segments side by side, like which countries bring in the highest traffic. You can also use the pull-down menu to select various metrics to be represented as bars. The comparison view shows you a bar graph to quickly see whether each entry in the table is performing above or below site average for the selected metric. If the value for a given row is better than average, it appears green. It is below average, it should be red. Again, you can use the drop-down menu to select which metric you should be also displayed. Finally, the pivot view creates a pivot table in which both rows and columns can different dimensions value for comparison. For example, a pivot table could show the Google Store, the bounce rate, and the number of stations for each landing page for devices. Let's look at the dashboards and shortcuts. As we have already been going through and looking at the various reports, it's clear that some of these metrics will be more useful for your business than others. In some cases, there may even be metrics you want to check regularly to gauge the health of your business or a particular ad campaign. You can also use the dashboards and shortcuts to quickly find these metrics without having to navigate to a specific report. Dashboards are flexible and may be used for different purposes. For example, you could create an overview of how your site is performing by displaying summaries of different reports as widgets together on a single page. Or you could gather a list of critical business metrics that show the state of your business at a glance or compare different reports side by side. Click Customization, then Dashboards in the left-hand navigation to view the reports that you have already collected. To create a new dashboard, click Create button, select a blank or starter dashboard, and give your dashboard a name. You can also add widgets to your dashboard by clicking Add Widgets. This button will let you name the widget that you want to appear on the dashboard and select a visualization type. You can choose to view the data as number, a timeline, a map, a table, a pie chart, or a bar graph. You can select some of these visualizations for standard or real-time metrics. Use the Add a Metric pull-down menu below to search and add the particular metric you want to include. You can even add filters to the report widget once you have brought it into the dashboard, similar to the way we set filters at the view level earlier. Once you have created a dashboard, you can format it by clicking Customize Dashboard and selecting a layout. You can also drag and drop existing widgets to different locations within the dashboard. Mousing over a widget will reveal an edit icon that you can use to edit data coming into the report widget. It also reveals a delete icon that allows you to remove the widget from your dashboards. There are two types of dashboards, private and shared. A private dashboard is only visible to you within that view. A shared dashboard can be seen by anyone who has access to that view. You can have 20 private dashboards per user and 50 shared dashboards per view. If you share the dashboard with other users, they can change what shows up on their dashboards, but their changes will only be visible for them. Your original shared dashboard cannot be changed by another user. If you want to share a dashboard, simply click Share at the top. Share template link will provide a link to your dashboard template that can be added to any other view, but don't worry, this won't include any of your analytics data. If you wish to share your template more broadly, you can add the dashboard template to Google Analytics Solution Gallery by clicking Share in Solution Gallery. The Solution Gallery is a place where Google Analytics user can share different types of customizations like dashboard. It's also a great place to find dashboard templates that you can import and then customize for your own business. In the save, you can also save reports in order to view them later. Look at them later by clicking Save at the top right of the corner of most reports. When you save the reports, they include any customization you have made to the report. For example, if you have filtered the data table, then that filter will automatically be applied when you access the reports from your customization area under Saved Reports. Use dashboards and saved reports to easily retrieve the data that's so valuable to your business or share them with other stakeholders. Be sure to check out the Google Analytics Solution Gallery for some great ideas. In the next video, we will introduce the reporting system. Thanks for your great concern and see you each other in the next video.